Hello and welcome to the Energy Update. Welcome to Cymatic TV. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do. And you will be welcomed with open arms into the family of Cymatic vibration into reality. So what's been going on with the vibrations this week? Well, we're going to be looking into what's been going on with the sun. It's the return of the book Coronal Holes. I was going to say Jedi, but I think that's more sort of copyright than anything else. So it's the return of the coronal holes. We're going to be going into that and how it affects you. We're also going to be having a look at those solar flares that have been coming off, hitting off the back end of the sun. But also this morning there was a beautiful X flare that went off behind us, behind the Earth. So it's not affecting the Earth, but it is affecting the solar system. So how's that going to affect you? We'll go into that. We've also got polar shift as well. Pole shift with pole shift with the the polar vortex. That's what I wanted to say. It's complicated trying to get it out. So polar vortexes. So on the north and the south, which is really interesting because it seems to be following the lines of the magnetic poles. So we'll be going into that as well. We'll obviously be going into, I'm sitting on the energy line at the moment, the female energy line, and we'll be going into what the vibration is coming through there at this present time and the messages that comes up through that vibrations. Okay, so we're also going to be looking to health news, so let's look into that straight away. The energy that's been coming through, as I said earlier on, it's got to do with coronal holes, but also to do with filament energy. There has been sun flares going off, X-ray flares going off, but not really in our direction, mainly going off at the back end of the sun. And what that's done is we did have a filament energy erupt earlier on in the week, and it erupted directly in the direction of the Earth. It was very heavy energy, but faster moving. With actual charged particles. So it's a lot of water, if you like. It activates the oxygen, which is in the higher level of the atmosphere of the Earth, and it's like the Earth uses it as a buffer to fend itself off. And as it does fend itself off, it does that connection to the center of the core, but also to the surface, where we take it on board. And that may have been affecting you in various different ways. First things first, it may affect like that you had sort of trapped emotions that was coming in through from the following week, but also for your physical sort of side, it's mainly sort of skin. So you might have found you've actually had an outbreak of sort of acne or something like that, or spots and stuff like that, where you normally wouldn't have them. It might have been a little bit easier for eczema and stuff like that, but that's going to be coming through in the coming weeks. The coming week, basically, it'll be filtering through the system as that sun flare or that sunspot turns in our direction. And it might have also, for the other health reasons, is affecting circulation, retention of water, that sort of thing, and blood pressure and that sort of thing. So if you've been having those sort of problems, make sure that you remember everything that you put in your mouth is a medication. So, be careful of what you eat well, make sure you get enough sleep as well. So, so medically it's been that way inclined. The majority of things I've seen through my healing session this week, the healings that I've been doing this week, is basically a loss of direction. It's been very mental, and that seems to have been affecting that mental sort of side. Once you get a lot of humidity in the air, it may feel it's all a little bit sort of like heavy and humid, the high humidity. So you might feel clammy. So mentally, you might feel that way as well, where your mental mind is very sharp on the physical side of life. So your judgment will come down in a physical sort of sense. You'll judge not necessarily what people say, but more a case of what people actually do. So you just got to be careful of that, obviously, because you can paint yourself into a bit of a corner with that. And, we're not everybody's judge. There's no doubt about it. We're not anybody's judge but ourselves. So, just be very careful of that. So as I said about the sun, there has been that filament energy coming our way, but we've also been seeing the return of the coronal holes as well. And that's been playing a little bit with the density speed, the density impact on the magnetic field of the Earth. And this density is what contributed to that concrete side of the mental activity. But it's also helped other people to move on. It should be easier to sort of do your plans, get your business moving on a little bit, getting administration done, but also getting those orders in and stuff like that. It might have been a little bit more sort of concrete for you this week, although you might feel on the edge of it. So those corona holes that do come through, they've been very mixed in between the filament energies, so it's been less of a shock, as it were, to the system. So there's less in the way of earthquakes and stuff like that. But it certainly has been sort of that's connecting with that circulation thing that's been going through it, going through the system within our human bodies, you know, because we're all electrical beings at the end of the day, all lovely electrical beings. So those coronal holes have really may make you feel a little bit heavy. This is the thing. So you've got to be a little bit lighter with yourself. Try and get out. Do things, try things you've never tried before. That'll usually help you out. Yeah, so it's been a stop-start week, and it's been very strange. The sun flares that are coming around the corner that you'll be seeing here as well, they are big. They are big. As I said the other day, we've moved into solar maximum, and as we've moved into solar maximum, we're going to get a lot more of these bigger solar flares. So there was an X2, I think, went off this morning. I will be doing a separate video on all of that because it's not hitting planet Earth, okay? And nor was the ones during the week. It was not hitting planet Earth. But planet Earth is not the only planet within the system. And if you're astrologically in mind and stuff like that, it makes a great impact on all of your readings or all of your sense of your energies and stuff like that. And it can have effect on the collective much more strongly than the individual. And as I say, we'll be looking into that into another video on that X-ray that just went off. So keep your eye out for this channel because it'll be coming through here. So, you know, I'll see you in that one for that one. But that should be facing, sorry about that, that should be facing Earth in probably the next sort of like 3 days. So it'd be more interesting to sort of see, and there's 3 big ones by the looks of it at the moment. There might be more coming around the corner. We'll see as it comes. So it's something certainly to keep an eye on. We'll be doing updates as it turns around on this channel. Okay. So let's get into pole shift. Pole shift has been a bit of a topic for me for the last sort of like 20 years. Certainly working as an energy healer, and you know, I've seen shed loads of people. You know, over 15,000 people. So I'm an observation scientist. So basically, I observe how things happen, and there seems to be, when there is a repetitive repeat, it's a sign of sanity. When it keeps repeating it. So there's certain things that actually, you know, looking into I've been looking into how this affects people for a long time, and I've seen this pole shift come on like a thief in the night, you know, and it's gradually coming onto the human beings and changing the human beings and our collective moral compass, our collective physical compass, our collective spiritual compass, and our collective energetic compass. So everything is gradually sort of filtering through as we go further into it. But this is an interesting thing. When the poles have been the North Pole and the South Pole, they left their normal circular trajectory where they normally go in circles like that around the North and South Pole. In 1889 or 59, I can't remember the dates, we had a thing called the Carrington event, where there was a big solar flare, and from that moment on, the North Pole changed completely direction and has been picking up speed as it's gone across the top of the Earth, and it's working its way down to down through China, to China and the northern Russians. I forgot what it's not I forgot what it's called. Siberia. There you go. I think it's that area. Anyway, it's around that area. And the South Pole has been coming out and is now left the actual sort of the Antarctic, and is going to be moving across Australia, and they're going to be meeting up in what I call in my book the event where it has the Indonesian plate. Basically, it's a diamond. It fits in perfectly with the energy lines that I did back 20 years ago, and with the chakra system. So you can see that here now, and I'll give you a larger view of the thing it's talking about. But when we look at the northern and southern polar vortexes, now this is very high upwind. It comes to the second from top level that we can get, and we get these sort of circles. Now these circles normally, as you can see here on the southern hemisphere, normally just goes around in a circle. Yeah, they do get perturbations and changing seasons, and we are in a changing season, so we have to take that into account. Let's not be stupid about it. Once we go up to the northern hemisphere though, look at that polar vortex, and it's been gradually bowing into two vortexes, and it's the one over China that actually won. And the opposite side to that, we pretty much get the South Atlantic anomaly. And these are poles that are pulling apart at the moment as it gradually inverts. How does that affect us? I will be, as I say, going into a big video on that on this channel, which you should subscribe in order to get the notifications for this. But it is definitely affecting us individually and us collectively. So, these are signs that we can see now as the pole shift is coming to the surface of the Earth. And as it does happen, unfortunately, it's going to cause a bit of damage, a bit of collateral. But what do you want? That's the system. That's the solar system. That's how planets work. You're going to change the way the planet works, are you? Right, fine, fair enough. Good luck with that one. So, yeah, we can have an interaction with it. You can do that with your energy. And I suggest that you do meditations on ley lines every single day, just to get yourself up. Just 5 minutes. You don't have to do more than 5-10 minutes. If you start doing hours on it, you end up sort of, connecting to energy for a long time, and it's a really good purification. There's nothing better than following a line, walking for the day. You end up, at the end of the day, just sort of completely wired. It's absolutely brilliant. But doing it on a daily process is just like having a shower or brushing your teeth or something like that. So it's a good thing to do. And once you can start getting into it and start feeling it, you can start feeling the sequences that are coming through. So therefore that helps you to adjust and realise when sometimes we have emotional or physical situations which may not actually have anything to do with us. It could have to do with the ambient field around us. So I'm sitting on this line at the moment. So I'm just going to connect to it. Just going to wait for that car to go past. So I'm in the centre of town. Okay, so there's the first connection there. It's okay, the heart and the solar plexus at the same time. The root, crown, very slight on the third eye. It's more the connection between the third eye and the throat really, and then it goes down to the sacrum, back up to the solar plexus. Touching onto the throat, root and crown, throat again. It really doesn't want to settle. Heart, solar plexus, and then it heads back to that. So this is really mixed, almost as if there's two rhythms in there at the same time. So it's like you've got a wave that crests on the beach, and as the wave rolls back out, it creates another wave that meets the wave coming in, if you know what I mean. This is not unusual, but it certainly is a crossing point And this could be that crossing point between, we're coming into maybe the midsection between the spring solstice, spring equinox, sorry, and the summer solstice. So it could be that connection point, that sort of turning of tides, basically, that seems to be coming through. The problem, there was a problem though, there was definitely a problem on the heart. The heart was, it was tight, it was squeezed, it had its expression was very sharp, measured, like swords. It's the best way to describe it. And that could be that whole mental thing that's making us, a little bit more sort of mental in the fact that we're judging about physical things. So it's not really emotional, which may have taken out the heart, which we've got to be careful of, because obviously if we take out the heart out of our judgment, of what we're doing and of ourselves and stuff like that, we could end up being really harder to ourselves. So just keep that in mind, keep that in mind and allow your heart to just relax. Let me just get what the message is coming through. I'm being I don't know if you can hear these ladies behind me. They're absolutely brilliant. I love them to bits. They are seriously chatting. Lovely. Easter Sunday. Happy Easter. Let me get back to that message. Every time I try to go back to it. So let's get back to that message for the earth. Okay, I have to give a bit of a backstory on this. Okay, on some last sort of thingy, I was sort of saying there 2 weeks ago on the message from the earth, it was sort of prepare. This time, the next week, it was a following case of kind of going, okay, now is the time to start the change. And this time here, it's sort of saying, in that process of change that's happening at the moment, and we're all feeling it, we really are all feeling it, and there's some serious thing going on in the Taurus season coming up, which I've been doing over on the Astro Flare. It's like, so I'm on the west coast, so there's beautiful waves out this way. So when you're in those waves and the waves crash in through you, you're standing with your feet in the sand, and sometimes the backwash can pull you out and up, or as the wave comes in, it can lift you up above the thing. And it's sort of saying, don't forget where your feet were in this moving sands of time. So it's like as if they're saying even the earth is now becoming fluid. And this is something we should be looking out for. And as it does come fluid, so does the energy become a lot more sort of fluid. So that you get a lot more direct energy. And this is all about that sort of lightning that goes from the earth to the sky. And the earth is, it's almost a sort of saying that don't forget from where you've come from. Does that sort of translate? The idea of having your feet in the sand and knowing where you were or how you've been in the sand. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't just turn your back on everything that's gone before. Remember where you've come from. That's going to be the really important thing. And sometimes when you touch back onto the sand, you're going to be in a different position to where you were before. So the moment you touch ground, so when you ground yourself with the rest of life around you, we all have those moments. where everything fits into place. Know where you are, where you're coming from, and where you're going. That's what it is. So every time the synchronicity really comes back and goes, and you have a fixed moment. When you have that fixed moment, you can kind of go, okay, and you get your orientation. That's what the Earth is sort of saying to us at the moment. Bit of a complicated message this week, very complicated, but I don't think it's going to get any easier. Don't forget, I'm going to be going into that X-flares and how that's affecting the rest of the solar system, and obviously us collectively. So don't forget to subscribe, click that bell and stuff like that. Been a long one, but then again, it's Easter. What do you want? Sun's out. Love it. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. Don't believe, just know. Cymatic TV, turning vibration into reality.